The Golden State Warriors scared everyone. As you all know, the Golden State Warriors are preparing themselves for the upcoming season, and I think it is going to be interesting. So in today's video, we're going to be going through 5 things the other teams don't know about the Golden State Warriors that's absolutely going to scare the living life out them. So we're going to be going through that in today's video, but before we get into it, make sure you like this video, and don't forget, if you want more Golden State Warriors content like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hitting that red button down below. Guys, 98% of you are still not subscribed, so it would mean the world if you could subscribe to the channel. But let's get into the first thing, and the first one being Klay Thompson supposedly has gained more muscle this offseason. Now this came to a lot of surprise, but there was a video going around that was a little bit viral of Klay Thompson actually deadlifting and lifting weights, and I'm telling you, he was lifting big boy weights. It was honestly surprising to see. I did not know Klay Thompson had that in him, but his trainers actually have come out to say that Klay Thompson this upcoming season, or during this offseason, has actually gained 10 pounds of pure muscle. Guys, 10 pounds of pure muscle is honestly insane. I think Klay Thompson is only getting stronger from here due to the fact that he is coming back from an injury. Last season, he actually only did play 32 games, so he did really, just start to get into the rhythm of playing an NBA season, and I think that's why this upcoming season, he is looking to play all 82 or a majority of the games than he did last season. So Klay Thompson adding 10 pounds of muscle, I think he's honestly going to be a different beast. A lot of people do say when they do get stronger, sometimes a jump shot can change. So Klay Thompson, hopefully he has that down packed in order to, I guess, accommodate for his new strength. But I think the new strength that he's given, or the new strength that he has, is going to definitely help him in the post, help him on defense. And I think, he could be a bit of a good driver to the ring if he's a big body down in the paint. Like, I'm honestly excited to see this. I think Klay Thompson being at 6'6", 215 pounds and having 10 pounds more of muscle is going to be honestly insane to see. I think Klay Thompson has done a great job when it comes to his recovery throughout the season. I think off season he's done very, very well, and he is setting himself up for a great season ahead. Now, with everything that is going on, other NBA teams better be scared, because Klay Thompson may be a big body 3-point shooter, so he may be taking you to the hole as much as he can shoot a 3-pointer in your face. So that's something to be worried about if you were another NBA team. I think Steph as well has actually gotten bigger last season. You can definitely see he's more stronger on defense, stronger on offense when he drives to the ring, and Klay Thompson being 6'6", it's definitely going to play a huge advantage for him, and I think it's going to help the Golden State Warriors immensely. So big news number 2 is that Moses Moody is going to be given a bigger role. As you all know, I have high hopes for Moses Moody, and so does a lot of the NBA and also the Golden State Warriors roster. Moses Moody stands at 6'5", 211 pounds. He is a shooting guard, but I do think he can definitely play point or small forward. He's a great defender. He's got great touch around the ring, and he can also shoot pretty well. Now, last season, obviously his stats aren't the greatest because he wasn't playing a lot of minutes, but he was averaging only 8 minutes per game and still averaged 4.4 points, 1.5 rebounds, and 1 assist. So he did a pretty good job. His field goal percentage was actually 45%, with his 3-point percent actually being 37%, which is honestly really good and very, very effective. Now, Moses Moody, I think, is going to get a bigger role due to the fact that JTA left, Otto Porter left, and also Gary Payton II. And now Moses Moody is finally time for him to step up. He is still a young player, but I do think he is going to be getting more than 8 minutes per game that he was getting from before. Now, where that'll actually stand, I don't really see him getting, a crazy amount of minutes, 25 plus, because there are a lot of other signings that Golden State Warriors have made in that shooting guard position, but I do see him getting a little bit more when it comes to game time and responsibility. I think all these young players really need, especially like, Moses Moody. We also have Jonathan Kuminga, who's also on the come up. These young players, all they really need is more game time and more experience, and their game will develop with that. Yes, of course, running and training with some of the best players like Steph and Klay is obviously great to be a part of, but once you start moving into territory where you're actually playing a serious game, that's when it becomes very, very difficult to see what they are capable of, and that's when you're really going to get the experience of what it's like playing in the NBA. So it's great to see Moody, and I think also Kuminga, just to add that in there, will be start to getting more minutes as time goes on, so it will be interesting to see how that all plays out. But Moses Moody, I think, what he can really provide for this team is not only just offense, because that's kind of already sorted, but his defensive presence. He's got really good defense, and like I said, it doesn't really show up in the stat sheet, but I think his on-ball defense is honestly amazing. He knows how to get through screens very effectively, effectively. His rebounding is pretty good for a shooting guard, 6'5" player. But when it comes to on-ball defense, that's where they're really going to need him, especially for that second unit. They got enough scorers and Jordan Poole and all that in order to make a difference, and I have other players there. So Moses Moody can really provide a lot on defense, but also provide 5 to 10 points here and there, which is also great to see. Moving into number 3 is the signing of Dante DiVincenzo. Now I think signing Dante DiVincenzo is probably the most underrated thing that has happened this offseason. He is such a great player, and I feel he doesn't get the credit he deserved. Now in Sacramento Kings, he didn't play a lot of games. There was a lot of issues between the actual management and Dante DiVincenzo. They didn't want to play him enough, blah blah blah. But back in his Milwaukee days, he was such a great player. No, he wasn't averaging 30-40 points a game, but what Dante DiVincenzo did is honestly fantastic for the Milwaukee Bucks, and he really played the role very well. He actually averaged back in his Milwaukee Bucks days 10.4 points. He actually had 5.8 rebounds. 5.8 rebounds, guys, at a guy at 6'4". Yes, you heard that right. And 3.1 assists. So he was honestly such a great player, and I feel it was so overlooked, especially back when they won the NBA championship with the Milwaukee Bucks. DiVincenzo is such a good player, and I think what really separates him from the others is he's a really, really good role player as well. He knows how to do his job right, whether it's scoring, whether it's rebounding, or whether it's even defending a person. Now, Dante DiVincenzo is a great defender. I have, said time and time again, I put him up there with Gary Payton II when it comes to the amount of play style. Now, I think Golden State Warriors actually did sign Dante DiVincenzo in order to replicate what Gary Payton II brought. Gary Payton II was a great defender, on-ball defender that was, and he could also shoot the 3-ball or, score somewhat. I think Dante DiVincenzo is actually a better scorer, but I don't think he is a better defender than Gary Payton II. So I think with Dante, you're getting a bit more offense, a little bit less on defense, but DiVincenzo is still a great player, and I do trust him to guard some of the big names out there, especially in today's NBA. So I think he can really provide a lot for this team, and moving forward, I think Dante DiVincenzo is going to be an integral part of that second unit, and you'll definitely put him there with the conversations that I had with Otto Porter, Gary Payton II, where he's going to become a fan favorite very, very quick. So Dante DiVincenzo, keep an eye out for him. 6'4", 203 pounds. He plays that shooting guard position, but I think he can run that small forward if needed, and I think he is going to have an impact on the Golden State Warriors and help them win another NBA championship coming up. Big news number 4 is the return of James Wiseman. Now, a lot of people are really looking at this from a perspective that James Wiseman is still just somewhat of a rookie, but I'm telling you right now, James Wiseman has had enough time to develop into a great player, especially playing with some great players such as Draymond, Kevon Looney, now you add JaMychal Green in that mix and all these other players that have really taught him a lot over the past injury season. Now, James Wiseman obviously had a great season when it came to the season he played in 2020 to 2021. He put up 11.5 points per game, 5.8 rebounds, 1 block a game, and also 1 assist. So it wasn't a lot, but he was only averaging 15 to 16 minutes a game, so it wasn't a lot for him to actually make a full impact. He wasn't really getting 20, 30 minutes like a starter, but I think this season coming up, he is going to be the main backup to Kevon Looney. And we'll get into more details about that later, but I did want to say James Wiseman coming back, a lot of NBA teams are very worried because Wiseman has definitely developed a jump shot over the past year. Now, Wiseman has always been somewhat of a solid shooter. I think back in his days when he played in college, even though he only played a couple of games, he was a solid 3-point shooter, around 28%, so nearly 30, which is not bad, but it has been rumored that James Wiseman has turned out to be a great 3-point shooter, and you can put him up there with some of the best. So honestly, I think it's going to be interesting to see how it actually all plays out. I think having a shooting big man is going to help this team a lot, add more diversity, since the fact that Draymond doesn't really shoot the 3-ball anymore, and also Kevon Looney doesn't really shoot as well. So I think it is going to be interesting to see James Wiseman back on the court. I think, if Draymond starts maybe shooting again and James Wiseman continues to shoot at a high level in the 3-point range, you could definitely see that being a deadly duo, especially for that power forward center position. Number 5 is Kevon Looney is going to be given a bigger position next season. So I think Kevon Looney is such a great player, and I think it's finally time for him to actually get the minutes he deserves. Now, if you don't remember, this upcoming season, or the season coming up, he's probably going to be a full-time starter. Last season, he did play starting positions. Sometimes he would rotate with other players, but I think Kevon Looney this upcoming season, since he did such a great job in the playoffs, they are definitely going to look to put him at that star position, which I think is going to be fantastic as a starting center. I remember Kevon Looney back in 2015, 2016 days, and even, back with KD. I remember him coming off the bench. He was a solid player, but he wasn't getting a lot of minutes for him to actually make a full impact. But nowadays, he's getting, 20, 30 minutes a game, which I think is fantastic and well deserved. Now, last season, he actually averaged 6 points, and he also had 7.5 rebounds and 2 assists per game, which is really solid. Now, when it comes to his scoring, we're not really going to focus on that because Kevon Looney isn't really on the court to score. He's there to get rebounds and play great defense, and that's what he does best. Like I said, none of it really does show up on the stat sheet, but I think his rim protecting skills are very good. He does average 2 blocks a game. However, when it comes to just, changing shots for these other players, I think it really does make a difference. They end up missing, and the ball goes the other way. So Kevon Looney definitely does the intangible things, which I think is fantastic, and it's finally well deserved for him to get a big paycheck and also a bigger role for this team. Kevon Looney, he did start in 2015, 2016, so he's got some now somewhat veteran experience, and he is getting better as time goes on, and he's developed into such a great player and probably will continue to do that as time goes on. So guys, let me know down in the comments what you think. Should the NBA be scared of the Golden State Warriors? I'd love to hear your opinion on it, and let me know what was your favorite 5 thing out of this list. So guys, let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you again guys for all the love. We are almost hitting 11,000 subscribers very soon. So talk to you soon guys, and peace.